Welcome, miladies of inestimable value. They say intelligence is rare, but a Sigma female redefines what it means to be sharp. She doesn't just skim the surface, she dives in, grabs curiosity by the collar and questions everything in sight. Did you know that while most people make around 35,000 decisions daily, a Sigma female has probably questioned every single one of them? And that's no exaggeration. She's in a league of her own, blending intense self-awareness with a fearless thirst for the unconventional. This isn't just book smarts or a high IQ. It's a sophisticated brand of intelligence shaped by relentless curiosity, mental toughness, and a fierce independence that most can only watch in awe. Prepare to unravel why Sigma females are, quite simply, in a different intellectual stratosphere. Number 1. Focused introspection as a skill. A Sigma female treats introspection like a science and a sport combined. She's not just casually reflecting on her day with a passing thought or two, she's practically conducting a mental autopsy on every decision, reaction, and feeling. It's a level of self-awareness that goes way beyond what most people would ever consider. Her mind is a vault of her own thoughts, and she's got the keys. While others might only look in the mirror for surface-level validation, she dives into her own psyche, curious about every hidden motive, every quirk, and every pattern that makes her tick. This intense introspection isn't just some feel-good self-help exercise. It's her secret weapon. She constantly evaluates her own strengths and weaknesses, allowing her to understand herself on such a deep level that she's virtually immune to self-doubt. Most people have moments where they second-guess themselves, but a Sigma female has already put her doubts through the ringer and emerged on the other side. It's like she has an internal compass that's been fine-tuned by her own rigorous self-assessment, which means she doesn't rely on external validation to guide her decisions. And here's the kicker. She does all this without turning into a narcissist or being obsessed with herself. Instead, she's genuinely fascinated by understanding what drives her, even if it means confronting things she might not want to see. This focused introspection gives her a grounded confidence that's rare and unshakable. While everyone else is out there collecting opinions and advice, she's operating from a rock-solid sense of self that she spent years sculpting, brick by brick. A Sigma female knows herself so well that she's practically self-taught in her own psychology, and it's a skill that keeps her steps ahead, always steady and unshakable. Number 2. Self-reliant learners. Sigma females are a different breed when it comes to learning. They don't just wait for someone to tell them what's worth knowing. They're self-reliant learners to the core, and it's this drive that makes their intelligence so unique. While most people are busy signing up for classes or waiting for some expert to break things down for them, a Sigma female is already knee-deep in research, pulling apart ideas and figuring things out for herself. If she doesn't know something, she'll dig into it until it's second nature. She's her own professor, her own curriculum, and probably even her own toughest critic. What makes this self-learning so powerful is that she's never limited by the knowledge around her. Her mind isn't restricted to what's trending or popular. It's constantly expanding based on her own curiosity. Sigma females aren't the types to cram facts for a test or memorize just to impress others. They go after knowledge with a purpose, only focusing on what's actually useful or fascinating to them. And here's the kicker. Because she's the one teaching herself, she remembers it all better. She's not just storing information, she's mastering it in a way that sticks. Being self-reliant also means she doesn't fall for intellectual shortcuts or popular opinions. A Sigma female doesn't just follow the crowd when it comes to ideas. She's too busy forming her own thoughts, backed by the research she's done herself. This independent approach to learning makes her immune to groupthink. She can spot nonsense from a mile away and doesn't rely on anyone to validate her beliefs. While others are often tethered to the latest trends or buzzwords, she's a fortress of her own well-earned knowledge. Self-reliance has given her not just intelligence, but a mental independence that's nearly impossible to shake. Number 3. An innate curiosity for the unconventional. A Sigma female has an appetite for the unconventional, and it's this curiosity that sets her apart. She's not interested in the same old answers everyone else seems happy with. She's wired to dig deeper, to turn over rocks that most people wouldn't even notice. If there's a twist, a contradiction, or an unknown lurking somewhere, she'll find it and dive right in. Mainstream ideas, predictable solutions, and surface-level truths just don't do it for her. It's like giving her a book where she already knows the ending. It's simply not worth her time. What drives her curiosity isn't just a love for the different. It's a need to understand what others overlook or even avoid. She's intrigued by the edges of knowledge, the ideas that aren't neatly packaged, the questions that have no easy answers. This fascination with the unconventional often gives her insights that others completely miss. Where most people see a wall, she sees a challenge, a reason to dig in and understand why things are the way they are, or better yet, why they don't have to be. Her mind is like a compass set to point toward the unexpected, and she follows it without hesitation. And here's the twist. It's not that she's rebellious for the sake of it, but rather that she genuinely finds beauty in the offbeat and unusual. Conformity doesn't appeal to her. She thrives on discovering patterns, inconsistencies, and truths that don't fit into tidy boxes. This unconventional curiosity is her superpower, giving her an intelligence that's dynamic and adaptable. She's not bound by conventional wisdom because she's too busy challenging it. Where others see boundaries, she sees potential, and that makes her intelligence feel like a breath of fresh air, always unpredictable and infinitely fascinating. Number 4. Ambiguity doesn't rattle them. Ambiguity is like a friend to a Sigma female. While others run from it, she's completely comfortable with things not being black and white. In a world that craves certainty, she doesn't need everything to be wrapped up in neat explanations. She knows that life isn't always clear-cut, and she's okay with living in the gray areas. This ability to thrive in ambiguity gives her a massive mental advantage. When situations get confusing or lack a clear answer, she doesn't get anxious or start grasping for conclusions. She just gets curious. It's like she has a built-in filter that lets her see the complexity without panicking. Where most people crave clarity and can get thrown off balance when things don't go as planned, she's unfazed. Ambiguity is her playground, a space where she can observe, absorb, and adapt without getting rattled. It's part of why she makes such level-headed decisions. She doesn't feel the need to rush into certainty just to ease her own mind. Instead, she hangs back, lets the situation reveal itself, and makes her moves when she's good and ready. And here's where it gets interesting. This doesn't mean she's indecisive. Far from it. She can make tough calls when she needs to, but she's mastered the art of waiting, of letting ambiguity sit until it sorts itself out. It's like watching a storm roll in. Instead of trying to control it, she just lets it pass, knowing she'll act once the skies are clear. This ability to navigate the unknown without flinching makes her adaptable, open-minded, and remarkably resilient. While everyone else is twisting themselves into knots trying to figure it all out, she's already moved on, comfortable in her own calm, ready for whatever comes next. Number 5. Mental toughness in the face of curiosity. A Sigma female's mind is like a fortress built for endurance, and her mental toughness isn't just an act. While curiosity might get her into all kinds of unknown territory, she's got the grit to handle whatever she finds there. She's no stranger to tough questions and uncomfortable answers. In fact, she welcomes them. Her curiosity pushes her to explore beyond the obvious, but it's her resilience that lets her stick around when things get intense. Most people might dip their toes in, look for easy answers, and back out when things get challenging, but not her. She's in it for the long haul. This mental toughness is her armor. She doesn't flinch at the first sign of difficulty, or get frustrated when something takes time to understand. Instead, she digs deeper. While curiosity fuels her exploration, it's her strength that keeps her steady when she's facing questions with no easy answers or ideas that might shake up her own beliefs. She's not interested in glossing over the hard stuff. She's built to take it on head first, sift through it, and emerge with a clear understanding that most people simply don't have the patience for. And here's the thing. She's also not one to complain about the struggle. If anything, she finds a kind of thrill in the challenge itself. The harder it gets, the more engaged she becomes, almost as if difficulty is her natural environment. While others might crack under pressure, she's just getting warmed up. It's not about proving herself to anyone else. It's about satisfying her own need to understand the world in its raw, unpolished form. This mental toughness, combined with her curiosity, gives her a depth and clarity of intelligence that's nearly impossible to shake, and frankly, it's what makes her unbeatable. Number 6. Purposeful risk-taking. For a Sigma female, risk isn't something to avoid, it's something to calculate. While most people would rather stay comfortable and avoid uncertainty, she knows that real growth often means stepping into the unknown. But she's no reckless thrill-seeker. Her approach to risk is as intentional as it is daring. She takes risks that serve a purpose, whether it's to push herself, learn something new, or move closer to her goals. To her, risk isn't an enemy, it's an opportunity, a necessary part of testing boundaries and seeing what she's capable of. Her way of taking risks is about as strategic as it gets. She knows the difference between a worthwhile challenge and a pointless gamble. Before she makes a move, she's weighed the pros and cons, considered the impact, and prepared herself for any outcome. It's not that she thinks she's invincible. She knows very well that things might not go her way. But that's precisely why she goes in, ready to handle whatever comes her way. If she stumbles, she sees it as part of the learning curve, not a reason to back off. The beauty of her approach is that she doesn't let the fear of failure stop her. She's realistic, but she's not intimidated by what could go wrong. Instead, she's more focused on what she might gain. To her, playing it safe feels more like a waste of potential than a smart strategy. She'd rather risk something meaningful than settle for the security of mediocrity. It's why she's always moving forward, always evolving, while others are stuck waiting for a perfect moment that might never come. She knows that purpose-driven risks are the fuel for her own growth, and she's not about to let fear hold her back from reaching her next level. Number 7. Non-reactive to emotional manipulators. A Sigma female doesn't waste her energy on people who try to pull her emotional strings. Manipulators might think they're clever, but she sees through the games. While others might fall into the trap of over-explaining or defending themselves to please someone, she simply doesn't play along. Her non-reactive nature is her secret weapon, and it drives manipulators up the wall. She's mastered the art of staying calm and collected, no matter how much someone tries to stir up drama or create confusion around her. What makes her approach so powerful is that she doesn't get tangled in the emotions manipulators try to push onto her. She's not cold or unfeeling. She's just clear about her boundaries. If someone tries to guilt-trip her, she doesn't immediately feel like she has to fix things or smooth it all over. Instead, she assesses the situation for what it is, a strategic move by someone else, not a reflection of her own worth or intentions. It's not that she's disconnected, she's just incredibly selective about where her emotional energy goes, and it's not going to be wasted on people who don't have her best interests at heart. Her calm reaction isn't indifference, it's wisdom. She knows that manipulators feed off reactions, so she gives them nothing to work with. And ironically, it's her lack of response that often leaves them flustered. By refusing to jump on their emotional roller coaster, she keeps her peace and her power. She's mastered the art of saying no without even saying it, and it's this quiet strength that makes her immune to emotional manipulation. While others might get pulled into the chaos, she stands firm, leaving manipulators to play their games with someone else. Number 8. Curators of their environment. A Sigma female is incredibly intentional about her environment. She's like a curator of her own space, carefully choosing the people, ideas, and surroundings that contribute to her growth rather than drain her energy. To her, it's not just about keeping things positive, it's about creating an atmosphere that aligns with her goals and values. If something doesn't add value, it simply doesn't belong. She knows that her surroundings play a big part in her mindset, so she treats her environment like a foundation for her ambitions. This isn't about being overly picky. It's about knowing that distractions and toxic influences can derail even the best intentions. She's well aware that what she allows into her space, whether it's people, habits, or even the kinds of information she consumes, will either support her or hold her back. So she takes control. Instead of letting things just happen around her, She actively shapes her environment to reflect who she is and who she wants to become. This means surrounding herself with people who bring out her strengths, focusing on activities that keep her sharp, and keeping clear of anything that introduces unnecessary chaos into her life. Her approach is refreshingly no-nonsense. If someone is draining or overly critical, they don't get a permanent spot in her life. If a routine or habit isn't working, it's quickly replaced. It's not about being ruthless, it's about being intentional. By guarding her environment this way, she keeps herself energized and focused on what really matters. There's a certain elegance in her approach, as if every detail of her space is a quiet reminder of her standards. And while it may seem strict to some, to her, it's simply self-respect. This curation isn't just a lifestyle choice. It's a strategy that lets her stay grounded, clear-headed, and ready for whatever comes next. Number 9. Fluid yet consistent identity. A Sigma female embodies the idea of a fluid yet consistent identity, moving through life with a sense of self that's both adaptable and unwavering. She's like a chameleon with a backbone, effortlessly changing her approach and demeanor to fit different situations while staying true to her core values. This ability to adapt is not about losing herself, it's about knowing exactly who she is, regardless of the environment she finds herself in. While others might struggle with identity crises when they encounter new social circles or challenges, she confidently morphs her exterior to match the demands of the moment, all while keeping her inner compass firmly pointed toward her true north. She knows that being flexible doesn't mean being fake. It's an art of balancing authenticity with the need to fit in or make the most of a given situation. If she's in a room full of creatives, she'll embrace that vibe. If she's at a business meeting, she'll switch gears without losing her edge. It's like she's got a wardrobe of personalities to choose from, each outfit tailored to fit the occasion, but all designed by the same brilliant designer, herself. What makes this fluidity remarkable is that it doesn't confuse her sense of self. People often see her as a puzzle they can't quite solve. One moment she's deeply philosophical, and the next she's cracking jokes that leave everyone in stitches. This dynamic nature is refreshing as it keeps people guessing and engaged. But despite the surface shifts, she carries a consistent sense of purpose and values. She's rooted enough to handle the storms of life without losing her ground. In a world of cookie-cutter identities, she stands out as a masterpiece, ever evolving but always unmistakably herself, proving that being true to yourself doesn't mean being rigid. Number 10. A skeptical yet open mind. A Sigma female approaches life with a skeptical yet open mind, and that combination is her secret sauce for intelligence. She's not the type to take things at face value or swallow every piece of information thrown her way. Instead, she's like a detective in a world full of headlines, sifting through the noise and questioning the motives behind the messages. This skepticism isn't born out of cynicism, it's a healthy curiosity that drives her to seek deeper truths and understand the bigger picture. When someone presents an idea or makes a bold claim, her brain kicks into high gear. She doesn't immediately nod along like a bobblehead doll. She pauses, raises an eyebrow, and mentally runs through her checklist. What's the source? Is this backed by evidence? Am I being sold a bill of goods? It's almost like a mental workout, and she's not about to skip leg day. This critical approach allows her to differentiate between valuable insights and just plain nonsense. Yet her skepticism doesn't come with a closed door. It's paired with an openness to explore different perspectives. She's willing to entertain new ideas and entertain discussions, as long as they come with some substance. In a world where everyone seems to have a hot take, she's the one who asks the tough questions and encourages meaningful dialogue. Her open-mindedness means she can engage with people from various backgrounds, extracting wisdom and insights while still keeping her radar up for red flags. This unique blend of skepticism and openness not only fuels her intelligence but also makes her a fascinating conversationalist. People find themselves drawn to her because she doesn't just regurgitate popular opinions, she invites them into a richer, more nuanced exploration of ideas. With her, discussions are lively, enlightening, and often sprinkled with a bit of humor that makes even the toughest topics feel accessible. In a sea of information, she navigates with the finesse of a sailor steering through turbulent waters. always seeking clarity without losing sight of the horizon. In a world buzzing with noise and distractions, Sigma females emerge as remarkable navigators of intellect and insight. Their unique blend of focused introspection, self-reliant learning, innate curiosity, and non-reactivity to emotional manipulation sets them apart. They cultivate environments that nurture their growth, embody a fluid yet consistent identity, and maintain a skeptical yet open-minded perspective that keeps them engaged in meaningful exploration. This dynamic approach not only empowers them to excel in intelligence, but also fosters an extraordinary resilience that others often admire and sometimes envy. Sigma females don't just float through life, they swim against the current, harnessing their exceptional traits to challenge the status quo and redefine the norms around them. With every step they take, they inspire those around them to question, learn, and grow, creating a ripple effect that transforms not just themselves, but also their communities. Their ability to embrace ambiguity and take purposeful risks propels them forward, allowing them to carve out their own paths and achieve their aspirations. In a time when conformity often feels like the easy route, Sigma females stand as beacons of individuality, reminding us that intelligence isn't merely a matter of what you know, but how you think, adapt, and engage with the world. As they continue to thrive, they invite us all to join them on this journey of exploration, encouraging us to embrace our own uniqueness and unleash our potential. So here's to the Sigma females. Intelligent, unapologetic, and undeniably extraordinary. May they continue to challenge, inspire, and illuminate the way for all of us. If you've enjoyed diving into the incredible world of Sigma females and their extraordinary traits, why not join our growing community? Hit that subscribe button to stay connected and keep the conversation going. You'll get access to more fascinating insights, engaging discussions, and a few surprises along the way. Plus, subscribing is the easiest way to support us and ensure you don't miss out on any of the good stuff. So come on, let's explore this journey together. Your next favorite topic could be just a click away. Thanks for watching, Jules. See you in the next video. Bye for now and stay blessed.